hail. It's radar indicated, so that's the important thing to keep in mind, but also don't take it lightly just because it is radar indicated, because we do have storm spotters that are out looking at these storms at a safe distance and know what they're doing, trying to see if there are any characteristics that may be present that would indicate that the storm is possibly producing a tornado. So that would be for Bowen, Augusta, Colchester, and those areas in southeastern Hancock County and southwestern McDonough County. So tornado safety tips: you want to make sure you're going to an interior room on the lowest floor of your home or building, and also you want to make sure that you're going to be staying away from any kinds of windows, things like that, because certainly you don't want to be trying to go outdoors to look at this, because it's a very dangerous situation. Even though it's radar indicated at this point, we have received some reports, especially in this storm here in Brown County we're talking about. This is the first tornado warning we received this afternoon. We did get a report of a funnel, or a wall cloud rather, from the EMS, and that came into our newsroom at about 4:05, 4:10 this afternoon, and so we're continuing to monitor that cell very closely. And before, it's very weak rotation on the radar, but the fact that we are receiving some reports of wall clouds would be something that we want to make sure we're keeping very close tabs on as we go through the rest of the afternoon. So again, just to recap again, the 2 tornado warnings are the only warnings we currently have in the viewing area, but we're going to be tracking these as we go through the rest of the afternoon. A severe thunderstorm watch is that box you see shaded in pink just to the north of the tri-states, so we're not under that product right now, but we are under those 2 tornado warnings, and we're going to change the radar here so we can get a little bit of a broader scope here of these cells we're talking about, and you can kind of get a look at what we're dealing with. And again, it's just those 2 lone cells right now. We'll turn off the satellite here in just a moment here so you can see the cells more closely here, and we'll turn on the high-resolution radar from the radar site here so we can kind of zoom in and get a closer look at the reflectivity, or the what the actual storms are producing in terms of rain. In addition to the tornado, we're talking about the possible tornado, we're talking about some very large hail associated with that cell, particularly across portions of Hancock and McDonough counties. We'll turn on the hail size tracker here for us, and you can see that some very large hail is being indicated here. We'll turn back on the radar and the hail, so you can see across portions of Hancock County, southeastern Hancock County here. We'll zoom in here, and that green and yellow shading, that would be where the hail core is right now, as indicated by the radar. And we'll put the tracker on this for you here, and you can see we're talking about egg size hail, and also golf ball size hail, and ping pong ball size hail within this cell. So that is something that right through here you can see that that's where the largest hail core is, just to the northwest of Bowen. And we'll zoom in here at West Point. It's just to your east now. The heaviest, or the most intense hail core is indicated by Doppler radar, but still picking up potentially maybe penny-sized hail in West Point. And again, this is all tracking off to the east and to the north and east here. We'll put this on loop here, and you can see over the past about hour or so, the storms have been over the tri-states and have gone severe, and then now the National Weather Service has put up those tornado warnings for portions of those counties. You can see they're shaded in red. These are the areas we're concerned about at this time. Again, for Brown County, and also until 4:30 p.m. for Brown County, a tornado warning, and then also a tornado warning for Hancock and McDonough County until 4:45 p.m. So 2 areas we're going to be watching closely here as we go through the rest of the afternoon here, and we'll zoom out the radar again here just to kind of give you a wide view of what we're showing right now on the radar. And we'll turn on the radar without the warnings here, just so you can kind of see where the storms are headed as we go through the past. We'll put it on the past 3 hours so you can kind of see where the storms and how they've evolved over the past 3 hours here. You can see we had some pretty strong storms across portions of Adams County earlier. Those have since exited the region and kind of dissipated and reformed into these two separate cells we're watching right now. And we're getting some more information from the newsroom here, and these are for
both confirmed.
Okay. And Stephen Johnson, thanks again, has brought me some more information from the newsroom regarding these storms. We're getting some reports from confirmed reports. I'm not exactly sure the source, but funnel clouds reported 2 miles east of West Point, and also a funnel cloud reported just northwest of Mount Sterling. And so we'll zoom back in on some of these cells here and take a look at that. But again, here are how the storms have evolved over the past 3 hours. Again, we had the severe ones kind of over a broad area of Adams County, Illinois, earlier this evening, and so this afternoon rather, and they've kind of evolved into the two separate entities we're tracking right now. And we're going to zoom in here just for a closer look here on this cell here in portions of okay, it's from the Brown County EMS, correct, Stephen? Yeah, Brown County EMS. Okay, so that was the source we got for those reports of the funnel cloud we've seen in West Point and Mount Sterling. So here is a close-up shot of the cell we're tracking across Hancock and McDonough County. Again, tornado warning for those storms. And again, we're talking about just 2 miles to the east of West Point is where a tornado warning has been, a funnel cloud has been reported by EMS. And that would be 2 miles east of West Point. So here's a look at West Point on our radar here, and this would be where the intense heavy rainfall is. And we'll turn on a shear, and again, it's just very weak rotation at this time, and the National Weather Service has picked up on that though, but certainly weak rotation or not, we want to be taking it very, very seriously and going to the lowest floor of your home. And, you know, again, the fact that we have received reports of funnel clouds and also the fact we've received some reports out of Brown County of a wall cloud would be indicative that not only is the radar correct in showing us the rotation, but it is, in fact, being verified to some extent on the ground, you know, in the fact that we're getting these funnel clouds and reports of wall clouds. But again, that we haven't received any reports at this time officially in the newsroom of a tornado on the ground, but nonetheless, as you know, a wall cloud or a funnel cloud could certainly be a precursor to a possible tornado on the ground. So we're going to switch the radar mode back to velocity mode here, just so we can kind of get a look at this. And we are tracking these storms this afternoon. Again, they've evolved from just being a couple of severe thunderstorms with some large hail. They've evolved from that into having some tornadic characteristics, which is always concerning, especially this time of year when, you know, we had the chance of some scattered thunderstorms, but we aren't anticipating a big severe weather outbreak. But there have been a few of these rogue storms that have become severe and also have threatened to have some very large hail. And also we've received several reports of some very large hail across the tri-states this afternoon, and again, we're watching for the hail reports as well as the possible tornadic aspects of these storms as well. So this is a look at velocity, and you know, we are still picking up on some weak rotation with this storm here as we put it through looping here at about the past hour or so, and we are going to be watching this closely here throughout the rest of the afternoon. We're going to put back on reflectivity here just so we can get a look at the cells and the amount of rainfall they're producing. Just extremely heavy rain now across portions of Hancock County. So a funnel cloud has been reported, but you probably in some of these areas aren't going to be able to see the funnel cloud if you're out looking, which I certainly hope you aren't out looking, because you need to be taking the precautions such as moving to an interior room on the lowest floor of your home or building, and then you also need to be making sure if you know any relatives that are in mobile homes, you want to make sure they're evacuating the mobile homes and finding more substantial shelter. And if you happen to know anyone that's outdoors in these areas, you want to be letting them know, keeping them up to date on the warnings that we're watching right now. So we'll turn back on the warnings here. And again, we're talking about 2 areas of concern here stretched across about 3 counties right now. The northernmost tornado warning right now, this area through here, is for portions of southwestern or southeastern portions of Hancock County and getting into southwestern portions of southeastern portions of Hancock County and getting into southwestern portions of McDonough County. That would be tornado warning for that area. Again, the main threat we're watching is the potential of a tornado. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are also possible. It's all radar indicated again at this point, other than a few reports. We've received official reports from EMS that there have been reports of funnel clouds and wall clouds. We had a report of a wall cloud in Brown County and also a report of a funnel cloud in portions of getting into Hancock County, just a few miles to the east of West Point here, and also a funnel cloud report just northwest of Mount Sterling. So we'll zoom in here so we can get a closer look at this storm. So there's West Point, and again, just 2 miles to the east of West Point is where we received that report of a funnel cloud, and you can see just very heavy rain associated with these storms, so you wouldn't be able to see it even if you were out looking for it. And we'll put on the hail size tracker, and you can see the hail core just now centered to the east of West Point here, and we'll put on the tracker here, and radar is estimating golf ball size hail right now, so just extraordinary large hail. And you want to make sure, again, if you don't want to be caught outside in this kind of hail, golf ball size hail. And, we're certainly going to be observing I'm sure, some damage to vehicles, wind damage. We're also talking about with roofs, sidings, and trees. And these storms are moving off to the east at about, or the northeast at about 20 to 30 miles per hour here. We'll find the official word on that here in just a minute. We're talking about moving to the east rather at about 20 miles per hour. This cell right here, southeastern Hancock County, and also southwestern McDonough County, in effect until 4:45. So it's now 4:30 here, and we are going to zoom out the radar because the National Weather Service had issued a tornado warning for Brown County. We're going to turn on the tracker here, and you can see they have since expired that warning at the expiration time of 4:30 for Brown County. We'll turn off the hail tracker here, and you can see just a very small area of some very heavy rain and possibly maybe some small hail now across portions of northern Brown County, now pushing into southern Schuyler and near Rushville and just to the west of Beardstown and north of Mount Sterling. We had a report again just a couple miles northwest of Mount Sterling earlier of a funnel cloud, but again we want to make sure that the warning has been dropped by the National Weather Service, and right now it appears the cell is weakening a bit. You can see here over the past hour or so, it started out here. We'll back up the radar here. You can see it started out about an hour ago at 3:30. You can see how it progressed over Brown County, and we had the warning up, but it has since weakened a bit, and at this time doesn't appear to pose a threat. But we still do have the tornado warning, which remains in effect for southeastern Hancock County and southwestern McDonough County, just north of the one in Brown County. And we're going to put on the tracker here just so we can kind of see maybe where this storm is headed again. We'll turn off the warning here, and we will put the radar into loop mode here so you can see how it's progressed over the past hour or so. It came out of Adams County, kind of part of that large area of some thunderstorm activity we saw, and producing some large hail, strong winds in Adams County. There was a warning out earlier for Adams County, severe thunderstorm warning. That has expired, and the storm has kind of evolved into this more lone cell, also producing some very heavy rain and large hail across portions of Hancock County, Illinois at this time. We'll put the tracker on here. It's moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour here, so as we track it out here, you'll be able to see here, we'll clear this out, you'll be able to see possibly some of the areas it would be impacting here over the past couple of minutes here. So moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. Augusta possibly impacted. Also Argyle State Park, you can see some of the hit times there, maybe around 4:50 for Augusta, 5:30 by Argyle State Park, if it holds together, which we've seen some evidence of these storms being weak and not necessarily long-lived cells, as we were just talking about the one in Brown County. That kind of gives us some evidence or something to kind of, you know, hang our hats on if we're trying to predict what these storms will be doing. But again, it can be very unpredictable this time of year, and especially when we get these kind of rogue cells that just pop up over the afternoon hours, and that's kind of what we've been dealing with this afternoon. So we'll clear off this information for you here, and we'll just recap that warning once more for portions of Adams County, or excuse me, for portions of Hancock and McDonough County. And this, again, you can see the cell here. We'll turn on the warning information, and you'll see that the counties is shaded in red are that's the tornado warning, and we'll put the information back up here on the screen. So 4:45 is the current scheduled expiration time, and that's for Hancock, McDonough County. Reports coming into the newsroom earlier. A funnel cloud was reported 2 miles to the east of West Point. Also, earlier, a funnel cloud reported just northwest of Mount Sterling, but the one just to the 2 miles east of West Point would be the one that we are tracking here on the screen here. We'll turn off the warnings here and put on the loop here so you can kind of get a look at how the storm is, what it's doing right now. And you can see, zooming in here, just to the north and to the east of West Point at this time, and just to right off to the west of Plymouth. That pink shading there, that'd be the heaviest rainfall right now. And we'll put on the hail tracker size here. So in addition to the threat of a tornado, we're also dealing with possibly some pretty large hail out of this too. And you can see that the hail tracker there, the area is shaded in light green there in the middle. That would be some of the most intense hail. And the tracker right now is indicating golf ball size hail. And you can see our latest frame just came back tennis ball size hail. And speaking of hail, the newsroom keeps getting information back here to us, which is great. And we're getting some official reports from the Hancock County Sheriff's Department of golf ball and dime-sized hail, and this would and also some rotation spotted in the clouds. Storm spotter out in southeast portion of county. Augusta, Bowen, Denver reported this, so this would be kind of right through this area here would be where some of these reports are coming in, some large hail and also some rotation, which would be where we would anticipate rotation based on normally how these storms develop would be in that sector of the storm. So that is a report of golf ball and dime-sized hail in Hancock County per storm spotter relayed by the Hancock County Sheriff's Department. So thank you very much, Stephen, for bringing me that information. We will zoom out the radar here just a bit so you can see a little bit where these storms are, just to give you some context of where we are dealing with these storms at right now. You can see just to the north of Augusta and just to the south and to the southeast of Bentley is where the heaviest rainfall is right now. And in addition to the rainfall, extremely heavy rainfall we're talking about, we're also talking about the potential tornadic element of this storm, which we've been on the air for several minutes now talking about this. We'll put the information here for you, Hancock and McDonough County, and zoom in here so you can see some of the areas that may be impacted by this as we go through the rest of the next couple of minutes here. Again, until 4:45 is what the expiration time the National Weather Service has on this storm right now. You can see just right off to the Plymouth is getting some pretty heavy rainfall right now, possibly some hail as well. You can see there on our hail tracker, but the heaviest or the most intense rainfall and the most intense hail right now would be in this area shaded in pink here, just to the south and to the southeast of Bentley, talking about the very large hail. We've received some reports from the especially the southeast portion of the county of golf and dime-sized hail, which would be radar's picking up on that nicely here. You can see golf ball size hail and also $half size hail, and also dime size hail as well. So we're seeing that as we zoom in here and take a look at this storm. And right now centered, the strongest of the storm right now centered across southeastern portions of Hancock County. Moving to the north and the east with a little jog to the north, and that's at about 20 miles per hour right now, according to the National Weather Service. And we will turn off the hail tracker again here, put the reflectivity into motion again, and you can see that it's just kind of been evolving over the past hour or so across leaving northern Adams County here, now extending into southeastern Hancock and getting into McDonough County. Very heavy rainfall right now, and also the threat of the very large hail, which we're receiving reports of, so that's confirmed. And also we're getting the confirmed reports of some funnel clouds, but nothing confirmed on the ground at this time. And right now it appears that the rotation is somewhat weak, but we want to make sure we're continuing to stay very up, just want to make sure we stay abreast of this and make sure that we're keeping a very close eye on this. And you certainly don't want to let your guard down, because we've seen these storms kind of flaring up over the past couple of hours here this afternoon, and we weren't anticipating, there's not a big severe weather outbreak this afternoon, but nonetheless, we've seen a couple of severe storms fire up, and we've also seen a few of them, go severe and produce the large hail and strong winds. But now, late in the afternoon, a couple of these have shown some weak rotation, so that is why we're on the air talking about these tornado warnings at this time. We'll turn back on the watch and warning plot again here. You can see it appears that, yeah, there's the tornado warning still in effect, and we'll put the information on there for you. Hancock and McDonough counties until 4:45. So that's about another 5 minutes or so on the official product from the National Weather Service. So we're going to at least stay on the air until 4:45 just to see the storm out and see what the National Weather Service next move will be in regards to if they're going to extend this further to the north and to the east. That would encompass portions of McDonough County, and then getting out of our county into the next adjacent county. I think that's Fulton, Illinois, but that would be out of our viewing area. But we're going to see what they're going to do. And again, we have about 4 minutes or so left before they would be issuing any additional extensions or anything like that. So we'll zoom out again here just for a broad look at the radar, and you can see that right now that cell in portions of southeastern Hancock County and southwestern McDonough County, and that would be the only cell we're talking about right now in the Tri-States. We'll turn off the watch and warning plot here again, so you can just see the only cell we're talking about in southeast Hancock moving into southwestern McDonough County. And we will loop this for you here, and you can see moving about slowly, about 20 miles per hour off to the east, and that right now is the only storm we're talking about, and it's showing some signs of weakening here. If we extend the loop a bit, maybe back to the past 2 hours here, you can see that's what we started with about 2:30 this afternoon when the storms started to go severe. Kind of migrated out of Adams County into portions of southern Hancock County, and now you can see these two cells here, the 3:30 image here, you can see the timestamp up here. They kind of evolved into that one cell that we're tracking right now with some of the tornadic characteristics on radar, and that is now centered right now across southeastern Hancock County, and getting ready to cross the county line into McDonough County in the southwestern portion of that area. So tornado warning in effect for that area, and we'll turn on the watch and warning plot again here so you can see that shaded in red there. That's what we're talking about right there in southeastern Hancock and southwestern McDonough. So we'll zoom in here, just look at the cell closely here so we can see some of the cities impacted here. And we'll turn off this watch and warning plot here just so you can get a look at the cell and all of the cities clearly that are possibly in the path. So earlier it was near West Point, and actually the newsroom received a report from the Brown County, I believe, EMS, that there was a funnel cloud 2 miles to the east of West Point. So that was an interesting report we've received in. And other than that, which is an official report, we haven't received any other reports that would indicate that there are any other hazards right now, like an actual tornado on the ground right now, still radar indicated, and we're nearing about 4:43 right now. So we have about little more, probably about 2 minutes or so left before we're going to find out exactly what the Weather Service is going to do, if they're going to extend it or if they're going to let it lapse, because we still have a few more minutes left on that. The one we were tracking earlier across Brown County is now dissipated into just a couple of rain showers. So if this cell does anything like that one does, we would watch it dissipate here in the next couple of minutes here. And you can see it's already starting to maybe show some indication of weakening. We'll turn on the hail size here, and you can see not quite as pronounced hail core. We've seen it kind of, waver back and forth between having a more pronounced hail core and not. Right now, we'll zoom in here on the hail core because in addition to the rotation, we're also dealing with some significant hail. And right now, about golf ball size hail is being reported in the core of the storm, where the heaviest would be there. You can see right there in that bullseye. And that's just to a few miles to the southeast of Bentley, talking about that large hail, and just to the west of Plymouth. But I think Plymouth should be spared of any that significant hail core, at least indicated by Doppler radar, because you can see the trajectory of the storm is pushing to the north and to the east here, which would indicate perhaps it's going to follow this path here, which would mean that possibly not necessarily going to be a direct hit to Plymouth, or at least with the hail. So you definitely want to keep an eye out still in Plymouth, but just be mindful that the hail perhaps will not be quite as much of a hazard in Plymouth, and Plymouth would still be under the warning, which we're going to check now. It's 4:45 now, so let's zoom out the radar here, and we will see exactly what if the warning has been expired. And it appears that the warning has been dropped, but you'll notice the pink shading now for portions of those counties, which appears that Storm Prediction Center, probably in conjunction with the local forecast office, has extended that severe thunderstorm watch down just a bit into those few counties that that would be for Hancock and McDonough counties. So it appears at this time that the National Weather Service has dropped or let the warning expire, the tornado warning, and it appears they have extended the severe thunderstorm watch into Hancock and McDonough County, probably to account for this one storm, since we were dealing with the tornado warning. So we're going to go ahead and sign off now on air, and we're going to get ready for KHQA News at 5, and there will be much more on these storms and what we can expect going into the days ahead coming up on KHQA News at 5. But for now, I'm Jeremy Ledford with the 7 Storm Team, and I'll see you here in a few minutes on KHQA News at 5.
Okay, do you have any city chat button?
Yeah, I did. I closed it because it timed out. I think you have to open it again if you go back to start.
Okay, your stuff's logged in, so I will.
I'm not saying anything, but Inman said something about tornado on the ground.
I called, and they said they had nothing on the ground. The Augusta Fire Department was disbanding and going home.
Yes.
Okay.
For Plymouth. For Plymouth, I called. They said that there was nothing on the ground in the area. The Augusta Fire Department was disbanding and going home.
Oh, good. Okay.
So.
Weather Center. Hey there.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah, it's been breaking out.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other places you need me to call and check on
Yeah.
for you?
There's a tornado watch. That's usually what we do. Tomorrow? Okay. All right. Right.
Right.
Okay. We have had that policy in the past. We can change it. Yeah.
Who said that?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Okay.
Can we maybe
Right.
over,
I mean, that was the charge.
Yeah, because well, on air we didn't mention anything on the ground because I hadn't received any report. I mean, and they let the warning, at least at this time, drop. So I'm thinking, I mean, if the weather service had any indication of it being on the ground, I would think they would have, continued it.
And
But
absolutely, and that's a policy
yeah.
change.
Okay.
If you want to make it, that's
Right.
fine.
I can call them back.
Okay, yeah. So you've got the report, the funnels
Yeah,
coming
try
out of
McDonough
Brown
County if you
County,
don't mind.
and
Just see if they've got any
also,
storm damage or
did you hear
wind
anything
damage,
about
hail damage. Thank you.
Hancock County? Because we received a few reports about west of, I think, west
No,
or east
today's
of West
not
Point.
Memorial Day holiday. Yeah. But both Tegan and Jeremy are back here. Okay. It migrated. Yeah. Well, yes, but she'll skirt around it. She'll be okay. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for checking in with us. All right. Appreciate it.
That was neat.